My business partner and I have been on YouTube for over 6 years. We've made hundreds of videos. We've gotten millions of views for our clients. We worked in niches like gaming, finance, politics, podcasts, interviews, and of course, real estate. Now, in this video, we're gonna give you 25 tips to not only blow up your channel, but to also bring you a ton of leads. So tip number 1 is find winning video ideas in other cities and apply it to your own market. If you're just starting out, what's really awesome is you can look at all these massive markets and you can see different videos perform really well consistently. Things like cost of living videos, neighborhood tour videos, or even pros and cons videos. Here's an example where it worked in Tampa, it worked in Atlanta, also worked in Las Vegas. So you can see it kind of being a consistent great video. Or another really popular video is the don't move to city state video. Again, if I just look in the same market, you'll see that it's in Tampa, it's in Florida, and it's in Las Vegas. And you can see it time and time again, it working. So you want to start getting an eye for these types of videos. And if you're just starting out, this is a great way to start posting some really good videos. Tip number 2 is find winning ideas across YouTube as a whole and then apply it to real estate. Now, most agents are stuck just on tip number 1. They're looking inside the real estate niche. Now, this is where you can start really leveling up. While most people are out looking at other videos and copying other agents, what we can do is we can look across YouTube as a whole and take what is actually working in other industries and apply it to our channel. For example, we used to work on lots of different channels. And so one common video we created was the street interview. It was a really great performer, a mega outlier for our other channels. So as soon as we got into real estate, that was one of the first videos that we applied for one of our agents. We did it in their market and it was a mega performer. It's one of the best performing videos that they have on their channel to this day. And that's just one example. We've done that with things like driving tours. We've done that with things like the day in the life video. And so being able to come up with these video concepts is what really is going to set you apart. Before we move on, if you're an agent who thinks that you can just follow some blueprint, someone who provides you with a list of 40 or 50 different ideas, or just do this video, and it's going to be a magic blueprint for you. Don't fall into the trap, because if you just do what everybody else is doing, you still fall under the category of copy and pasting. And really the whole point of this is to make sure that we look across and find things that are going to work for our channel specifically. We don't really want to be like everyone else. Now, tip number 3 is to be first, be better, or to just be different. Now, to know which one you are, you actually have to analyze your market. You need to see what's going on in your market so you can learn, am I the first channel here? Am I better than everybody else? Or do I need to be different? Let me explain. So let's look at St. Paul, which is a city over in Minnesota. Now, if we do a quick search, we can see that there's a couple videos that have been made about the pros and cons and living in St. Paul. But if we actually look at the channels, we'll see that these channels are not even posting consistently, and there's not even a lot of channels here in the first place. So when I look at this market, if I'm an agent getting ready to start a channel, I would say, well, this is a pretty open market. I'll be one of the first people in this market that's actually creating content consistently. Now, if we compare that to a city in Omaha, Nebraska, and we actually just take a look here, we'll see that there's a channel here that's pretty big. They have almost 3,000 subscribers. He's posting consistently. He's got some content up that is hitting all the typical videos that might perform well. So one of the things in this market is we can no longer just be new. We can't afford just to create a video and hope for the best, because this guy is taking most of the market share. So what we need to do is we need to look at his channel and decide, can we be better? And me personally, if I was looking at his channel, I'm going to be looking at things like his thumbnails, looking at his video length, looking at the value that he gives. Can we actually improve our editing? Can we shoot better videos? Like, what can we do to be better? In my opinion, yes, someone can definitely come into this market and simply outrank him just by creating better content. And the last example would just be looking at a market that's completely flooded. A market like Las Vegas, like Tampa, like Houston, like Dallas, some of these really big cities. And so we know that this is not a channel where we can just afford to come in and be new or come in and be better. A lot of times what it's going to take is us being really, really good or being completely different. So as an example here, we have a channel that we manage, and you can see we've posted a lot of videos, and we've done the living in strategy just better than everybody else. It's been one of the ways that we've been able to grow, but we've also done some videos that are also different. So things like the driving tour, things like the interviewing the locals, things like a day in the life, right? So we've done some videos that are not the cookie cutter strategy as well, but at the same time, we've also just made it better. And tip number 4 is to put out volume. If you're an agent and you're just starting, one of the first things that you want to be focusing on is getting time on camera, especially if you don't have a video crew or someone who's helping you, like a company who's partnering with you. If you're a solo agent, pump out volume, get used to shooting, get used to being on camera, be used to talking to a camera. It's a little weird. A lot of people find it hard. Go ahead and just start. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just go ahead and get it out. Tip number 5 is to use QR codes in your video call to action and also on your banner. A lot of people nowadays are watching on TV, and so that QR code that's up there, a lot of people will scan it. You might see 60 to 70% of people watching from TV, and this QR code is a really great opportunity for people just to quickly scan it and then go ahead and book in a call. And you can see here for one of our channels, Olga, we've done just that. We've included that banner with a QR code and the actual video itself. Tip number 6, hire an editor as fast as humanly possible. Look, at the end of the day, I know it's cool to say, hey, look, I edited that video. And I know a lot of agents who start out are editing their own videos, and that's what they're taught. But the truth is, you are not a video editor. You are a real estate agent. That is your job. And when you take on editing, you're taking on a whole nother skill that you have to learn. You have to get software. You have to learn the software. I know agents that spend 5 to 10 hours on one video just in the editing, and it ends up eating all their time. What you want to do is you want to pass on these videos, especially when you're just starting, to someone on an app like Fiverr. Pay someone $50, $100, let them edit the video, and go spend the rest of your time calling leads, work in your database until you can afford someone even better, because this is not your full-time job. This is a way to build your business. And I'll say this last thing. If you can't afford $100 for someone on Fiverr, YouTube might not be something you want to look at right now. It's way better for you to go and look at some more immediate lead sources, because you're just going to be eating up all your time. Tip number 7, which is the golden rule of YouTube. When something is working, double down on it. I can't tell you the amount of times I see someone make a video that gets thousands of views and then they never make that same video again. There's a video that we made for one of our agents, which is the pros and cons. And if you look here the last 3 years, we've made it 4 different times because it's worked that well. And we just keep doing it over and over and over again. Tip number 8, and one of the biggest reasons you're probably not getting any business, is that you should only have 2 call to actions. In your video, when you're creating content, what we're doing is we're giving value. Whenever we give that value, what we want to do is we want to give a call to action, and we want to be very specific with what we want them to do. I see so many times an agent will make a video and they'll say, call me, text me, email me, book a Zoom call with me, download my relocation guide, check out my website, get a free home valuation. They'll tell the viewer everything that they should do. And what happens is analysis paralysis. That lead or that viewer is getting overwhelmed with so many things to do. There's only 2 call to actions that you should be using. The first one is to reach out to you. What I mean by that is when we're giving our value, say, hey, look, if you're interested, reach out to me by calling or texting me. Super simple. We want to keep it direct. The other thing that you can do is at the end of the video, when we give our call to action, we want to make sure that we say, hey, look, if right now is not a good time to reach out, then all you can do if you want to learn more is click right here to watch more videos about so-and-so city. Because the only 2 call to actions we want is someone to directly reach out to us, or for someone to go ahead and watch more content so that in the future, they directly reach out to us. Tip number 9, stay away from YouTube Shorts. Now, you've probably heard this before, lots of different people telling you to stay away from YouTube Shorts. Don't post YouTube Shorts. And that is generally true. If you're a brand new agent, I would not even worry about YouTube Shorts right now, because it's not the main focus. The main focus is for us to get our YouTube channel up and running. Here's an agent that I've seen. He's got about 3,000, almost 4,000 subscribers. And you can see if you look at his main channel, he hasn't even broken 100 views on his last 4 videos, but he's consistently posting shorts. Now, I had a sales call with him. We talked about it. I told him not to post shorts, go all in on the channel, and he didn't listen to me, which is okay. Hopefully you guys listen to me. The YouTube videos and the shorts are basically completely different skills that you have to learn. And we only recommend YouTube Shorts when you're at that highest level of YouTube. YouTube Shorts do work. There's a reason it's on the platform. Sometimes you can't just take what's working from your YouTube video and turn it into a short. It's a whole different science. So if you're brand new, stay away from YouTube Shorts until you end up working with someone or have a lot more time on your hands. Tip number 10 is to optimize for the viewer funnel. You've probably never heard of the viewer funnel before, but we want to think of the viewer funnel like any other funnel. For example, if someone sees something, they click the offer, they go and they fill out information, we get in contact, right? That is the general flow of any funnel. Now on YouTube, we have what we call the viewer funnel. which is where someone looks at the actual video itself. They see the title, then they see the packaging of it, the thumbnail, the way that it actually works together with the title. Then when they click on it, they see the intro, then they see the video itself. And 99% of realtors, what they do is they don't focus on anything in the beginning. They only focus on the portion of the actual video. They neglect the actual title. They neglect the actual thumbnail. They neglect the actual hook, when in reality, that is the first step of the funnel. And it's really simple. Think of it as a ladder, where the first rung of the ladder is the topic selection. So the topic that the video is actually on. And then if someone agrees with that or is interested in that topic, what they're going to do is they're going to go to the next rung, which is actually going to be the packaging, how the topic and the thumbnail work together. Then if they like that, they're going to click on it and it's going to go to the hook. If they enjoy the hook, they're going to keep watching and they're going to watch the rest of the video, which is all the remaining content. You're going to grow a lot faster. Tip number 11, ignore what everybody says about the YouTube algorithm. And I want you to replace the word algorithm with audience. Look, YouTube is a fair game. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. You're not going to be able to hack the algorithm. Really what it comes down to is how much do you deliver to your audience, not your algorithm, to your audience. Now, if your video is simply just not good, the title's not good, the packaging is not good, the hook's not good, the video's not good, and your audience doesn't like it, well, YouTube's going to try to show it to them. People aren't going to watch it, and it's going to tell YouTube that people don't want to watch this video, so it's not going to keep pushing it out. It's really just that simple. Tip number 12, 95% of all YouTube courses out there that teach you how to build a real estate channel are a total scam. Before you purchase any course, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the background of the person teaching it. Does the person actually have a channel that does what you're looking to do, or do they do it at least for a lot of other people? Do they actively have their hands on the pulse of those channels? I'm not just talking about hiring people for it. I'm talking about the actual work involved in building that channel. Every market is different. Every market has a different approach that you need to take. What worked for them is not going to work for you. And it's really common that different markets require a completely different YouTube strategy. Tip 13, if you want more views, you need to niche up. And if you want more specific views, you want to niche down. So for example, let's take a look at Marquez Branson over in the Dallas market. If you go ahead and look at his popular videos, you see in the very first spot, he's got a video that's about moving to Texas. It's his best performing video. It's got the most views. And then all the other videos are moving to Dallas, Texas. And that's because his video on moving to Texas is much more broad. And so there's a lot bigger audience who can watch a video like that versus his other videos, which still perform great, will never really hit that same level of viewership because you're making it a lot more specific by going and niching down into Dallas, Texas. But just a word of caution that just because you have a lot of views, it doesn't mean you're going to actually do a lot of business. When you open up your topics and you make them more broad, yes, you might get a lot more viewership, but at the same time, you're not going to get as specific business as you want. So you're going to get things like leads that are reaching out for referrals that aren't even able to work with you. Now, if you want really strong search views, then you're going to have to niche down. You're going to have to avoid some of those really, really big locations or really broad topics, and you're going to have to go into the very small, specific topics. That's where you're going to get a lot of search results, and you're going to get a lot less views, but sometimes that's okay. Now that brings us to tip number 14, which is not all views are equal. Now, those search views are going to carry those higher intent leads than browse views, but browse views are a lot more abundant and can actually be one of the ways you get more people into the overall funnel. If someone watches your video on browse, then they may actually stick around for your next video, in your next video, and they can become part of your core audience. So search views are really great for those really quick leads, people that are actively searching, and they're showing interest. And then those browse views are going to be more for getting new eyeballs into the funnel. If I was actually looking at the health of the channel, these are the metrics I personally would be tracking. Number one, it would be qualified leads. How many qualified leads are coming in? Number two would be search views. Are we getting enough search views of those higher intent leads? Number three would be just viewership overall. Number four would be our retention graphs. Where are people coming in? Where are people leaving? Honestly, this is probably the least important. A lot of people read these graphs wrong, but you want to look at your viewership in that way. For example, I've got two different videos right here. One of them has a little over 1,000 views, but has 70% of the viewership coming from search. So that means over 700-800 people have watched this video by actually searching up the video itself. And that's going to bring us a ton of awesome leads because they're showing that they're actually interested in this video. On the other hand, we have a video that has over 2,000 views, but really it's only got 10 or 15% of viewership coming from search. So even though this video has a lot more views, it might not be the right views we're looking for. Tip number 15 is always ask the leads 2 questions as soon as they reach out. The first question is, what video did you watch first? Now, a lot of leads are probably not going to remember. Some of them will remember, but this is an awesome way to track your top line funnel. Actually see what are the videos that are bringing in the leads. A lot of people think it's one video, but could be a completely different video. So knowing what's actually bringing in the leads is going to help you do more of that exact video. But tracking that top line funnel is so important. And the next question you want to be asking is, what made you reach out? What is actually making you stand apart from the competition? Maybe it's your personality. Maybe it's the way you shot the video. Maybe it's your studio. Maybe it's your age, right? There's so many different things that it could be that actually get a lead to reach out. So we want to understand what about us makes us unique. What about us is what's attracting this audience? And we make our clients ask these 2 questions every single time. So not only do we know exactly what videos the leads are coming from, we also know what makes them stand apart from all the other people in that market. And so we can really focus on those 2 things, and that gives us a lot of leverage. Tip number 16 is always aim for 1 to 3 elements on an actual thumbnail. Now, this is a lot harder to teach because really you just have to have an eye for this. And the only way to really have an eye for this is to just be on YouTube for a very long time or be an exceptional designer. But ultimately what we want to do is we want to focus on making sure we know what the video is about. We want to add some curiosity, but we don't want to overwhelm the actual thumbnail. I see agents where they put in text, they put in themselves, they put in a backdrop, they put in another piece of text, and really just the video gets overwhelmed. We want to keep it simple. So here's an example of a really strong thumbnail where you can clearly see there's one subject, there's a very clear point. And here's an example of a pretty bad thumbnail where things are pretty, all over the place. And so when we are creating our thumbnails, just make sure that you have a clear point to it and don't overwhelm it with too many things. Tip number 17 is good SEO on YouTube is completely fake. If you have someone out there telling you SEO, guys, it is a scam. Do not listen to anyone who's teaching YouTube who wants to get you to keyword stuff their title with 5-6 different keywords. If you want to get people to click, you need to have a great title and you need to have a great thumbnail. And that's what's going to get people to watch your video, not the keywords itself. So here's an example of an agent who's been clearly taught that. New construction, keyword, and it's just keyword stuffed. And what we want to do is we actually just want to make a really clickable title. So here's an example of a few titles that are just really clickable titles where the viewer would actually be interested in clicking on a video. We know exactly what we're going to get. Tip number 18, always know what your next 4 videos are. Guys, this is the biggest thing I see with agents in the burnout and just not being able to continue with the channel. What happens so often is an agent starts with creating content. They're super pumped, they're so excited to be on YouTube, and then very quickly they are out because they have to go to a listing appointment or they have something to do, they take care of their kids or they're sick and they, miss a week, maybe they miss another week. If something happens, you have an emergency, you can't do something one week, hey, I got 3 or 4 videos still ready, I'm not behind and everything's okay. But you find yourself where you're planning week to week, that's where the rat race comes in. That's where you start getting that burnout because week after week after week, you got to do the same thing and you can never take a break or you're going to miss a day of posting. So keep in mind, schedule out in advance. It's going to save you a ton of time. It's going to help you with your consistency. Tip number 19 is that longer videos typically perform better. Now, it's honestly pretty simple. When you make a longer video, it allows you to spend more time with the viewer. If the video is actually good, people are going to watch quite a long time of that. So if someone watches 7, 8, 10 minutes of a 30-minute video and they're watching 30%, that's awesome, right? YouTube's going to see that people are really spending a long time with you. And also it gives the ability to the viewer to get a lot more information. And so they build that connection. So you'll see, if you look at some of these top markets, a lot of these people are shifting into creating longer videos. Also, not to mention that TV views are on the rise. As I mentioned before, 60 to 70% of some of our videos are getting watched on TV because people are they're clicking on and they're going to YouTube, watching some of these videos. And so, when we have these longer experiences, it kind of emulates what a TV show or a movie might be like. If we can have those longer videos, people are going to sit and watch those as they're watching on a TV. They're not as distracted by other things like they are on a computer. Tip number 20, match your audience. You have to remember, whenever you're posting a video, you're basically putting out a evergreen advertisement. You You are always going to be there unless you delete that video. That video is always going to be there, exactly what you talked about, exactly what you look like. So make sure that you make it match with your audience. If you're trying to build a luxury brand, do we want to be wearing sweatpants and a hoodie? Probably not. We probably want to be dressed up in a tie. We want to match that. If we're building a luxury brand, do we want really low quality equipment? Probably not. We probably want to wait till we have a videographer and shoot some really nice houses. If we're trying to connect more with first-time home buyers, we probably want to be able to connect with the younger audience, talk about things that younger audiences care about more so than maybe things that they disconnect from. Maybe we want to present ourselves in a more casual way. Whatever that is, remember, when we are posting videos, these are videos that are going to be around for a long time. These are videos that are going to be advertisements for you. So we want to make sure that whatever we do, we're aligning as closely as we can with our audience. If you look at two channels, both that are doing property tours, we can see a completely different branding style. Jackson Wilkie, which most people know, does a lot of property tours over in Houston. And you can see he's doing hour-long videos, drone footage, dressed casually in shorts and a t-shirt. His brand is very casual because he's working with new construction, families. Or if you look at Brad McCallum, who's doing property tours, he's got cool drone footage, cinematic stuff, because he does a lot more on the luxury side. He has multi-million-dollar properties that he tours. Tip number 21 is that YouTube for the real estate space starting to get hyper competitive. And if you want to be on YouTube, this is not something that you want to do just part-time. You need to be all in. You have to be able to honestly outwork everybody, be able to, go out and shoot more content. You need to be able to outlearn or even partner with someone who does know more. You need to be able to outspend people at times where if you're really trying to get into a market, sometimes you're going to need a bigger budget to actually break in. There's a lot of things that you need to do, and it's not something I recommend for agents who just want to try it out. Posting a video here and there, it's not going to get you where you want. It's not going to bring you the business. Agents that are winning on YouTube are the ones who spend the most time learning, doing it to actually build a channel. And that's because they know if they get to that top spot, they're going to out-earn everybody on the platform. Most people who are in the top out-earn the other channels by 5 to 10x what the other channels are making. So even now in the last year, I can't tell you how many agents I've seen upgrade their channel, whether that is into better videographers, whether that's better editing, whether that's better strategists, better thumbnails. So just keep in mind, in order to maintain that spot, you will need to do that at some point as you get better and better, but make sure that you're always pushing forward. Tip number 22, your viewers are not stupid. To contrary belief, yep, most people actually have a brain, and when they're watching your videos, they can tell if you are real or if you're fake. You don't want to fake your persona. I see it where people are on camera and they try to be someone that they're not. Be casual, be yourself, be the way you are when you talk to your friends, your family, and just, be honest. If you're honest and you're the way you are, when people get on calls with you, when people see you, they're going to actually be able to tell. And that's what's going to make them reach out. Tip number 24, you need to have visual anchors. So if you have a channel and you're trying to really put yourself in your market and get people to understand where they're moving to, what it's like to live there, you need to have visual anchors. People are coming because they want to see what it's actually like. So a couple things I'd recommend is you need to have your own B-roll. So getting a drone or working with someone that has a drone or going out and shooting some footage can be really helpful unless you have people that know how to find that footage. That's not just generic stock footage, which we're really good at, by the way, but you want to make sure that you're actually pulling in real content from the location, whether that's Google, whether that's drone footage, Google Earth Studio, and really showing what it's like to be there, because those visual anchors are going to solidify in the audience's mind what it's really like to kind of get a feel for the city. What are the coffee shops like? What are the streets like? What's the traffic like? So if all you're doing is shooting talking heads, I highly encourage you to get up off the chair, go out and shoot some content, take a day or two, get really good footage, and then use that as your bank of footage that you can use as B-roll in other videos. It's going to help you out a ton just to build that experience. Tip number 25, you don't need fancy equipment. If you're a brand new agent, you're doing less than 150K GCI, you're going after, your local audience, you're just figuring it out, you don't need fancy equipment. Just get started. Agents are so afraid of posting their first video, they never end up actually starting. If you're in that situation, you're kind of not sure, I don't want to post this, it's not good enough, the video equipment's not good, blah, 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 just go ahead and start. Of course, if you're an agent, you've got the budget, have a brand to uphold, you have an image to uphold, then yes, go ahead and do that. But for your average agent, if that's you, just press publish. Get that video live, go record it, publish it, get it out. Don't care about anything else. You're just gonna have to keep chugging along, and that's the best way for you to grow. If you're an agent, you're saying, look, I want to build the #1 channel. I want to actually take over my market and you're ready for that, but you don't want to do it alone, click the link below, schedule a call with our team. We'd love to help. And if you're saying, look, I need to learn just more about YouTube, that's totally okay. Click right here and check out some more of our videos.